everyone, today I'm going to read for you an ASMR story in the style of ASMR. There's a man named Jeremy. One day, he went to the mailbox. When he opened it, he was looking for a package he had ordered 2 days ago. It was a brush detangler, a detangling brush, because the brush he had hadn't been very well maintained. He had allowed it to collect dust and grime and dregs of dead skin, hair, and various other things that come off of the human scalp. So he went to the mailbox and opened it, expecting to see his package, which he had ordered from Amazon. Because while he believed that Amazon was immoral, he was not willing to wait a month to order the same kind of detangling brush from Fletch and Twig. So he opened the mailbox. But instead of the detangling brush, there was something else inside. Can you guess what it was? That's right. It was a creature. And not just any creature. This wasn't a cat or a dog or a squirrel or a chipmunk. This was something else. Something so strange, Jeremy could not put to words what it looked like, because it had no form resembling any creature on Earth. But it did have a mouth. A mouth like a zigzag. A zigzagging line. So Jeremy was taken aback. Before he could do anything, the creature spoke. And it said,
Hello there. You have opened my cavern door, and now you must solve my riddle.
and Jeremy said, "What are you? And where's my package?" And the creature said,
That matters not at this moment. What matters most of all is that you solve my riddle.
And Jeremy said, "Well, what happens if I solve your riddle?" The creature said,
I will allow you to go free with your prize.
and the creature reached behind, using some kind of appendage, and presented Jeremy with the brush detangler. And Jeremy said, "Well, what if I lose?" And the creature said,
We do not want to discuss that now. I assure you.
and Jeremy said, "Okay, well, what's your riddle?" The creature then said this:
What has 4 mouths, 7 eyes, and 8 feet?
And Jeremy thought for about 5 minutes, but he couldn't think of anything. And eventually the creature was growing tired and said,
Well, I must say, your time limit has almost elapsed.
and Jeremy said, "I thought there wasn't a time limit." And the creature said,
I never said there wasn't a time limit. I would say that you are limiting my patience. Do you forfeit? Do you choose to forfeit?
And Jeremy said, "Well, I guess so. Yeah, I really just don't think there's an answer to this riddle. I can't think of anything that has 4 eyes, 7 mouths, 8 toes." And the creature said,
It is not 8 toes, it is 8 feet. Perhaps you are along the wrong path right from the start.
Jeremy said, I forfeit. And then the creature started doing this.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And Jeremy was shocked and surprised by what was happening. And just as he was about to run into the house and walk away from the mailbox because he had given up on the brush at this point, the creature did this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And in that instant, where the zigzag mouth had been, a zigzag-shaped tongue erupted from the creature and wrapped itself around Jeremy. It became enormous, much like a large party streamer, one of those billowy men at the gas station. Wrapped it all around him. Coated to this tongue were tiny spikes. And, well, I won't get into that, but let's just say the only thing left of Jeremy by the end were his shoes. The next day, a neighbor walked by and saw Jeremy's shoes and said, "That's odd. Those look like Jeremy's shoes." And he knew what Jeremy's shoes looked like because he always wore the same pair. It was, I want to say, an Acer Gore-Tex waterproof sneaker. And the neighbor walked on, because that's what you do when you see something strange or unusual. Because of course it must have a logical explanation. You wouldn't have played with the dog. You wanted to walk barefoot. There was always an explanation that makes sense, that is earthly. And 2 days after, Jeremy's wife, who was estranged, they were actually doing a separation, came back to the house because she also had a package, and funnily enough, it was a brush. Not a detangling brush, but a regular brush, because they're a little old and dirty. So she went to the mailbox and opened it. And she was aghast. The little piece of Jeremy had fallen onto the ground because it was so tightly packed into the mailbox that if you opened the lid at all, it would just come spilling out. It was similar to, if you've ever seen an uncooked meatball, but it already has the spaghetti sauce on it, if you kind of are catching what I'm saying. So then she called the police. The police came, uprooted the mailbox, took it away. Didn't know what to do with it, burned it, eventually replaced it with a new one. They moved away. But here's the thing. What Jeremy's wife didn't see that day, that she peeked into the mailbox, was that the slot of the mailbox where you insert the letters was in a rectangle, as it usually was. Can you guess what it looked like? That's right. It was a zigzag.